last orders at the bar, please.
Welcome to Tavern Tales, a curated 5e Dungeons & Dragons adventure set in the tales of the Yawning Portal campaign module by Wizards of the Coast. Previously on Tavern Tales, the Silverkins have bested Dern and allowed Grenl to install herself as leader. They've rested from their near-death experience and now descend ever further into the Sunless Citadel.
Come sit down and drink with the enemy, raise a glass and toast to the enemy, and I'm not gonna do this on my own. So come sit down and laugh with the enemy, raise your glass and sing to the enemy, and I'm not gonna do this on my own. So I won't end up being alone, 'cause I won't drink my drink alone. So what about you? One beer or two, I'll drink to you.
We will now continue Session 11. Dern is dead, and with his death, Grenl has taken the throne of the Durbulk tribe. Yasheria has survived being thrown into the shaft, but will Erky Timber survive such a passionate kiss? Noticing Yasheria's missing shield, Oriana says,
"How dare you brand me?"
and where's your shield? Or
No, I don't care about the shield. She took me away from my happy place.
Clear.
What is that monstrosity that touched my skin? And where is your shield?
And now, let us peek into the adventure itself, as Oriana climbs to her feet, the bodies of hobgoblins all around her, the shaft of the level below, quietly calling out to the Silverkin family.
I feel like we need to take a rest and loot these bodies and feel better. I'm down to 8 hit points, so.
Grenl speaks from her throne.
Sorry.
Which
Yasheria understands to say, "You have done well, large creatures. You may take a rest here or in our home in the cathedral through that other door."
we have done well, and that we are all large creatures. We have been given this place of rest either here or in the cathedral beyond those doors.
Yeah, just so you know, in the future, if you're going to just repeat exactly what I said, you do not have to translate. You
Yeah,
just
I was
say, I
assuming you were
translate the
gonna
whole
change.
thing. But you know what? I'm thinking about the color you gave me previous, and I'm going to award you a white mote for the passionate kiss of Erky Timbers. That was both in character, according to your character's flaws and bonds and personality traits. So I'm going to award that to you.
Make sure to
And you get Drayden points for finding somebody you're not related to.
give the previous session an 18A rating, just for that episode. It's got a little steamy there for a little bit.
It's all,
I mean,
they're all explicit.
you did manipulate the shaft. So
It's true. You clung to it tightly with your fingers.
as you hear the tink tink of the shield hitting the stony floor below.
Son of a bitch.
Took that long to fall.
So are we taking a short rest? Yay? Nay?
I think we should actually take a long rest before we enter the lower level.
Because long rest refills everything, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much. And it'll give us time to throw the loot everywhere.
Yeah, you may definitely pull out your loot and play a little.
Play a
Oh, you want to like open up and check the stuffs? Absolutely.
Horde controller.
Yeah, I got it right.
Quartermaster.
I got it. That you have the ice cold greatsword.
Oh.
I got that written down here.
Yes. Also known as Calcrix, I say in my mind.
So you go to loot. You open up the footlocker. You check the bodies of the hobgoblins around you. Who's doing what?
I'll open the footlocker. I don't really feel like looting bodies.
Sure, it appears to be locked.
Can you second win the footlocker?
Yeah. I'm going to use my cool new sword as leverage and try to pop open the lock. Calcrix, are you cool with this?
How dare you use me for something so trivial?
What is the footlocker made of?
Oh, I'm going to use my warhammer.
It's a
to
large
smash
iron
open.
chest.
Because I was going to say if it was wood, you could like reverse engineer it and just take it apart.
Yeah. Keep the pieces for later
Right.
to carpentry.
It's bound in iron. The hinges are on the inside. It's locked. It's very sturdy.
I'm going to look on Dern to see if he's got a key.
Yeah, Dern definitely would have a key to the footlocker on his person.
Okay, and I guess I'll look for anything else on Dern and kind of avoiding the frozen bits.
I guess I will loot the one hobgoblin that my warhammer is lodged into his cranial area.
And I continue to sit on the floor, tracing my new scar with my finger, with a single tear rolling down my eye, remembering the magnificent creature I was for just a brief moment.
Absolutely. It's not a scar, though. It's just a discoloration of your
I
skin.
didn't know what to call it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's just a
In
discoloration.
my mind, it's scarred me.
Yes.
I feel like it's like when people have like, I don't know, like Michael Jackson had that where like his skin was like
where the pigment, you lose the
Yeah,
pigment.
you lose it. I feel like it's like that.
Vitiligo?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I think it's what it was called. That's
Yeah,
what he
where-
had.
Where you lose the pigment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
As you loot the hobgoblins, you find that one of them is wearing a pair of silver earrings set with moonstones that seems to be worth a pretty penny, probably 20 gold
Oh, you could totally pull those off.
for each of those earrings, so 40 gold total. And there is on the neck of one of the other hobgoblins a matching necklace littered with moonstones as well that would be worth 50 gold pieces.
And so you said the earrings were 20 each?
20 each, yep. As you inspect the body of Dern, you see that the half-plate armor that he is wearing is actually embossed with the Hukreel family sigil as well.
I'm going to take that off him.
Yep. You have broken the leather straps such that you would need to find someone to repair them. You couldn't do it yourself. You also recall and see the signet ring on his finger.
I'll take that too. We should at least return this if we find out what happens to the two adventurers.
All right, you pull out the key. You find it in one of his pockets in his underclothes because he's wearing half-plate armor. And you fish it out. It seems to fit easily into the footlocker. Clicks open and the footlocker reveals its contents for you. As you open it, you can see there is actually a long needle trap set up to spring forth for anyone who would want to try to tinker or tamper with the lock. But as you've used the key,
It doesn't
it
spring.
does not do that. You just see it inside the chest, ready and with a wet-looking tip as though there is a poison thereon. Inside the chest is awash with gold pieces. 100, 200, maybe more gold pieces therein. And there are 2 black onyx gems glittering in the lamplight, resting on the top of all of this gold.
Wow. I'm going to close it and lock it.
You close it, you lock it, you heft it. It's quite heavy.
I know.
And actually, to let you all know, so you don't have to count it later, or you do over your short rest, it is 231 gold pieces.
What, my kingdom for a bag of holding.
Meanwhile, I mentioned that there was this really decrepit looking tree in a pot that was barely a foot tall next to the throne. I mentioned it in passing as you entered the room. Grenl, from her seat, whispers words of magic, waves her hand at the pot, and a spray of poison spews from her fingertips at this broken, dead-like tree, maybe a couple of leaves upon it, and it suddenly cries out in pain, moving, springing to life for but a mere moment before it shrieks and dies on the ground next to the pot. And you recall, a few of you, how much it looks like the twig blights that attacked you on the road as you descended into the Sunless Citadel in the very first session.
Just as a heads up, I'm going to take the earrings and the necklace.
You can put them on, or are you just
I'm going to rock those hard.
Yeah, they look good on you. Hey.
Nice. They look nice on you.
No, we're going to accessorize this.
Excellent. Lovely. Make sure you put those on your character sheet in your equipment section. I will let you know if they ever present or grant you an opportunity for advantage because you are wearing luxury.
Yeah, social checks and stuff. Cool. Have you seen these earrings? I mean,
My God.
So have you chosen
Moonstones.
to take a long or a short rest
I was thinking a long rest because I actually don't have any hit die left.
Yeah, me either.
here, or do you head to Goblinville?
We know what's happened in this room, but do any of the other goblins that we frightened on the way in know what's happened?
No.
And if we go to Goblin Village and we go for a rest, will they murder us in our sleep?
I mean, Grenl seems like she's protecting us. I mean, it might be good to sense motives that we're actually safe here.
Yeah, I was thinking
Or
maybe
get
we
an
should
insight
just
check.
stay.
You speak with her.
Yeah, I could ask her if she could just
Yeah.
escort us, make sure that.
I mean,
everyone's-
I think it's safe to stay here.
Yeah.
Or and we'll be able to tell if anything comes up. We won't be able to get your shield back until,
Yeah, we could stay here if you want to.
like, we could do breasts or we could do watches and make sure nothing comes up out of the
Of the shaft.
of the shaft. Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but thanks for making me. As well as making sure that we all have a good long rest. Why not a long rest?
Cool, yeah. A long rest.
Rest.
During your long rest,
We take watches.
you take watches, of course. I'm not. There is the sound of industry. The hobgoblins' bodies are taken out by other goblinoids. Grenl leaves, and she does not come back for many, many hours. A goblin watch, though, is set upon two of the doors, and Sidork fails to return in a timely fashion.
I'm gonna go look for my bro when it's my turn to wake up.
So I guess I'll take the first shift, I guess.
Sure.
Excellent. You spend some time idly tracing the leather of the boots and the embossing and the thread work of your new footwear. I've shown you the Dungeon Master's Guide. Because this is your white gem, I've presented to you with 3 options for your character's boots. You may choose any one of those 3. They are boots of elven kind, boots of levitation, and the third is
Boots of speed.
you may only pick one, but let me know which you have chosen. You end your watch. There is no issues, no worries, no troubles, nothing bothers you. The other 2 watches begin. They pass without any real difficulty or worry, and the morn, or as such as it is, dawns with a renewed amount of activity coming from Goblinville, as all of them have awakened to begin the industry of a new day. It looks as though Grenl is starting a rather large strike party to attack the kobolds in the other room. Only Yasheria has really noticed that, and Yasheria has largely been asleep or pondering over the merits of the boots she has acquired. The goblin that you took the boots from is very perturbed, but does not come anywhere near the shaft room that you are currently in. There is no noise coming from the shaft below. You may worry at length about how your shield is doing on the ground down below you. You do not hear any noises coming up the shaft. And as your watch ends, your 8-hour reprieve has expired. You're all feeling much rested and invigorated once again with your spell slots renewed to move on in the Sunless Citadel.
Where's Sidork?
Has not come back.
I'm gonna go look for him.
If you leave, you will be forsaking your long rest. There'll be events that would transpire going
After
back.
the rest.
So after the rest,
Yeah. I asked Yasheria to translate to one of the goblins. Have you seen my half-orc brother?
so there is a goblin standing watch at the door.
Have you seen a half orc walking around anywhere?
The goblin responds in the negative that no, he's been watching you 3 for the last while.
No dice.
So, like, out of character, Kyle, is this just a way to remove the character short term, or?
That is a very good question on a game level.
Yeah. I just, like, we gotta go find him, so.
I don't know why you're rushing around trying to get Sidork. You never bothered this with Torin.
It's just how so Torin left and like said, I'm gonna go somewhere. Sordor didn't say anything.
Sidork was escorting Meepo to the circus.
Because Meepo wanted to.
Okay, sorry. Thanks for the clarification. That's why I was confused.
Absolutely.
Or at least to the road, I think you were.
Either way, Sidork
Yeah.
was escorting Meepo out and did not just disappear.
Okay.
For no
Fair enough.
known reason.
So our long rest is done.
The
right?
long rest has been completed.
How do I remember how many hit die I have?
You have 2 hit die. You have regained both of those hit die in this long rest.
And all
You only
of the hit
regain
points, right?
half of your hit die in a long rest.
And I get all of my hit points
Not to
back?
argue with it. Yes, you do.
Okay. I keep forgetting about this Tides of Chaos.
Uh-huh.
Damn it.
I'm so torn. I don't know what I want for my boots.
The silence one is kind of cool because your stealth would be off the charts.
He's like, oh, I didn't choose that one.
Yeah, that wasn't the one I chose.
Did you choose the speed one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get to click my heels together, a la Wizard of Oz.
But why do you need speed?
There's a couple of reasons why he takes it.
Okay.
Boots is a speed.
Okay, can I just see that again? Because I think you made the wrong choice.
Well, because there was boots of levitation.
Yeah, which is awesome to
Yeah.
not fall.
Oh, then you could go down to the shaft and get your shield.
I can
Without dying.
I can climb it. I climbed up it.
It's
Yeah,
80
but we're
feet.
gonna have to make checks.
Okay, I gave you 3 options. The first option allowed you to go all silent and elven kind and have advantage on dexterity checks, stealth checks, right?
right.
What do you think you get if you just float
the same thing.
all over wherever you go?
Advantage.
Or do you even need to make the check?
No, I probably won't need to make the check.
Yeah, there you go. Boots of elven kind are kind of a weaker item than boots of levitation
Yes.
on their own basis. Then you also have the boots of speed, which granted are great for you to run around or to dash thereabout. And I'm not saying it's a bad choice. It's just one choice was the encapsulation of 2 choices, and the other one was just kind
But one of them I
optional
also
on its own.
get they get disadvantage on opportunity attacks too.
How many times have you had an opportunity attack cast on you?
That's what
Yeah.
I was thinking. So okay, I'll do levitation. Or is that still wrong? Yes. No, levitation. Boots of floaty.
Grab the player's handbook. Oh, all right. So you can continue to assess which boots you'd like to take. There's no rush to determine which of those boots they are. Within the next 10 minutes or so, figure that out. Your rest has ended. Sidork has not returned. Sidork might not come back anytime soon, given how far away Sidork might have to go to take Meepo to the circus or to kill and bury Meepo, depending on Sidork's proclivity. Sidork may also have encountered or interacted with Torin. Something may have befallen Sidork, but adventure still awaits in the shaft below, along with Yasheria's missing shield. Erky Timbers does not know what to do with himself around Yasheria. He is extremely excited to get Yasheria involved in the shaft in some capacity. His shaft or the shaft, you're not too sure. But you are all now rested and ready to go. I leave the decisions in your capable hands.
All right, you guys ready to head down and find this wizard? Yasheria, you ready to head down and find the wizard?
Yes.
Of
We shall proceed.
Oz.
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 Yasheria steps onto the wall of the shaft and
Casts levitate.
the boots glow along the red threading, illuminating a rune on each that is not normally discernible from the embossing and the thread work. It glows momentarily, and Yasheria steps out into the shaft. Does anyone worry for even the briefest moment that Yasheria has gone to kill herself?
Payback's a bitch.
No, I mean, I see the magical glow and I take a slight sigh of relief.
I
It's
can
like,
sense the magic, and I have no worries.
Oh, yeah, definitely something magical is happening. What happens, Yasheria?
So I'm just kind of floating there, a la David Blaine style.
Nice. Your feet casually slightly crossed, your arms out.
Yeah.
All right. Very Christ-like.
And then, yeah, I guess I'll start heading down.
Wait. Erky Timbers
Oh, God.
clambers up onto the
he wants to
shaft
ride you down
and
the shaft.
holds his arms out like a child would to a grown adult, and trust falls towards Yasheria's arms.
I'll catch him. Do I have to do like a strength check?
No, not in the slightest. Based on how you said, I'll catch him, is it a rough sort of like you just hold him like you would an erstwhile bag of rice, or do you hold him protectively to your chest, his head nestled in between the two breastplates of your breasts?
We won't go that far. You said he held his arms out like a child, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll sling him on my shoulders and hold him like a child.
He leaps out your arms.
Great image of you giving like a shoulder ride to Peter Dinklage.
Yeah. I'm giving Erky Timbers a shoulder ride.
Sure. He leaps out, you grab him underneath his armpits, you swing him around and plant him firmly on your shoulders. Do you hold his feet?
I hold one of his feet.
You hold one of his feet casually, and he wraps his arms around your head and lays his cheek upon your pate.
It's like the top of your head.
You
Nice.
feel something digging into the back of your neck. And he adjusts his belt pouch, and you don't feel that anymore.
I'm sure it's his belt pouch. Great. Got a white moat out of it, though.
Yasheria begins to slowly descend.
I'm gonna follow to the shaft and offer to put a rope tied to me to you if you need assistance in climbing down, because it's an athletic type.
You mean
like,
she's not floating back up and coming to get me?
No, it's
I doubt that.
it's only on a target. So I'd have to literally take the boots off and give them. Well, no, I couldn't do that, could I?
you could like carry her.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
No, it's only a target.
No,
Then
Could
how
I
did-
carry more than one person?
No. I mean, like you take Erky Timbers down and then you come back, you levitate back up. I jump on you and you levitate me back down.
I'm gonna climb like a man.
I'm not a man.
I approach the shaft and I start to tie a rope around myself like I'm ready to head down, and I say, "Come here, Oriana. I'll tie you to me so that if you slip, I will save you. I've done this before. Many times have I climbed things and climbed down from things.
I've seen how some of the people in the circus have ended who you've helped.
I am a very good climber."
I am going to put my life in your hands this one time, and I swear if you drop me, you are never hearing the end of it.
You're right. I tie a rope around her in like a harness type, using all of the good knots.
Just
She's
the
nice-
good knots,
So
eh?
she's nice and safe.
I do not like this.
Not with a K?
Not the puns again.
I'm going to start climbing. The vines are all the way around the inside, right?
Yes.
I'm going to direct Oriana to climb kind of next to me. So not only could I grab her with the rope, she doesn't fall as far
And pull.
and pull on me. And potentially I can catch her with my arms.
I need to use rope check here, and I'll allow that to be either survival or athletics. Athletics would be a little bit higher difficulty.
The difference is 2 between them. So I'll use survival.
Okay.
17?
Yeah, you tie perfect knots around Oriana.
And I'm like, and here's the snowman, and it goes through his eye, and I tighten it all up.
Leaving him a carrot for a nose. Yeah, the knots are great. You feel protected and safe by these knots. Then Drayden ties knots to himself. Is that what you did?
Yeah.
Or are you lowering Oriana down? Because you don't have 80 feet of rope, so
No, I think we're climbing down together, and then
Okay.
it's just a safety net if I fall.
absolutely. All right.
Okay.
What happens now?
We're going to start climbing.
All right.
Making athletics check.
Each of you climbing on your own?
No, we're climbing together.
With the
Because
rope.
there's like space for both of us to climb
Yeah.
kind of in tandem.
Oh, each of you climbing on your own. Oriana is not just going to hang there
Right.
and let Drayden.
Right.
Right. Begin your descent. You climb up over the half wall of the shaft, looking down into the depths of the darkness below, the stone floor ever so far away. And you lean out, grabbing some foliage and vines, and begin to climb down.
And I direct her, and I'm trying to assist her as she's climbing by giving her hopefully helpful advice on how to go about it, because you're not an expert climber.
No.
So I'm like, careful here, and make sure to tug on the vine before you put your weight on it, and find a place for your feet as you're climbing. Hopefully giving her advantage on her rolls.
If you want disadvantage on yours, you can definitely give her advantage.
I don't want that. I'm just trying to help her.
You need to help yourself before you can help others.
Yeah.
In this instance.
I'm encouraging verbally.
I could finally use Tides of
Oh,
Chaos.
One thing I forgot. Dern had a satchel off to the side of the throne, and in the satchel was a potion of healing.
Sweet.
Awesome.
2 vials of a green-like substance that you determine, one of you with medicine, Yasheria, to be antitoxins. Yeah, that's everything.
Okay, we're going to start climbing.
The one thing you didn't ask is you found Dern wearing that signet ring as well as wearing that armor.
Yeah.
Do any of you wonder or question anything about that?
Is it special? Is that what you're asking?
Well, it's the Hucriel family crest.
Yeah.
It belongs to the people you're here looking for.
Yeah, we wanted to take it with us.
Oh, you definitely take it with you.
Yeah.
But do we
I
want to
just-
know how he got it? Like did he take it
asking
off of them, or is
Grenl?
he part of their family?
Well, we knew that he had seen them.
Right.
He stole it from them, obviously. I guess asking Grenl before we leave.
Yeah, we can ask her.
All right. You find a moment just before the beginning of your long rest to ask Grenl about the armor and the signet ring. And Grenl tells you that it was the human male. She doesn't know his name because she didn't give it. And that they were all prisoners of the goblins, the 3 of them, and that they were sent down the shaft. But in a fit of anger at the human male, or Talgin, when Talgin made a snide comment about the teacups and the type of tea, Dern killed him, running him through, even though he was already bound and gagged, then stripped his armor and his signet ring from him and put them on himself. He only sent the 2 other humans down the shaft. Talgin went to feeding the people of Goblinville.
Man, goblins are so gross. We should return the armor to the mother.
Yeah, so we'll take it with us and then give it back. So do you guys start climbing down now?
Climbing down.
Hand over hand, you lower yourself through the thick, meaty vegetation of these vines that encircle the entire shaft. You take your time, finding the right handholds, the right footholds, twining your feet and legs through thick vines that help you, working your way from one to the next as you lower yourselves down the shaft. You work it slowly and methodically. Oriana slips once or twice, her hands unused to handling such thick vegetation. Drayden, self-proclaimed as a veteran of shaft climbing and climbing in general, makes his way all the way to the base with nary an issue or a hiccup.
That's right.
Oriana makes her way as well, finally descending into the darkness. The last 40 feet of the shaft is the most troublesome and worrisome because the rough-hewn stone of the shaft ends and it's just the vines themselves dangling down into nothingness. However, Yasheria lurks, floating nearby, ready to try to catch and slow the fall of anyone who may slip. The last 10 feet where the vines end before they reach touching the ground comes quicker than you expected it to, and you find yourself with your feet back on solid ground. The shield is nowhere in sight.
Oh no. You gotta hang on to his symbol for a while. He can't use it.
Yeah.
You get a best buddy now. It's like a friendship bracelet.
Best friends forever.
And if it touches my skin again, I'm going to clock you upside the head.
Luminescent fungus, shedding violet light, clings to the walls and ceilings of this wide, very wide cavern. The air is damp, chilly, and redolent with the odors of loam and decay. A layer of earth mixed with rotting vegetation and the remains of cave animals covers the floor. Several varieties of mushrooms and fungi grow on the detritus, as well as a few samplings. You hear a scraping, Yasheria, as you descend along with your two comrades. They are too busy finding the proper handholds and footholds, their thighs gripping thick, meaty vegetation to ensure that they do not plummet to their deaths. The thin rope between the two of them, all that potentially saves Oriana from certain death of a fall. But you hear scraping from the north within this large chamber of two different sources.
I hear something up ahead.
So I reach back and say something silently to Calcrix and say, "Grant me your light." Just to like
Okay, so you've
pull the sword and
touched the floor. You're now standing there. You pull forth Calcrix. It casts even more light in this dimly lit area. However, you can see the entirety of this cavern.
with dark vision, right?
It is 60 feet by 60 feet. A giant square you are in the smack middle of. Well, immediately you see one exit to the north. It is a wide, rough-hewn, natural-formed opening that is 15 feet wide and about 20 feet tall into a giant cavern.
So the floor of this place is also covered in this fungi or moss or...
No, the fungus only clings to the walls and the ceiling around you. You're in a dark patch, though, because you're underneath the shaft.
Can I, wave Calcrix closer to the ground and try to figure out if there's any sort of footprints or markings or scrapes or...
Sure. There definitely are lots of markings and scrapes from things that have fallen from the top of the shaft down below to here. It is pitted and
Any,
marked with
drag
refuse.
marks in a particular direction?
Nothing recent.
Any bones?
Not in the area that you're in right now. However, to the north, you perceive two black figures with long implements in their hands working just on the edge up to the north there.
Huh. I mean, maybe they're miners
Could be.
or
Could be
something.
spears.
Can't assume their motives. Can I take a few steps away from there to kind of see if I can see further and see if there's any other entrances or exits?
Yes, as you do that, you step away. You see there are two doors in this large chamber. One in the southern corner of the southeastern corner. The other along the eastern wall on the northeast side. The cavernous opening is near that eastern door on the north wall to the eastern side. The sounds of scraping are coming from the north and the west as these two figures you can dimly make out are working with long implements of some kind.
Should we approach? I whisper.
Cautiously.
How far are they from us?
Less than 30 feet.
Could I technically cast sleep on them so they'll be asleep and that
Absolutely.
way we can approach
Oh, cool.
safely?
Sure, yeah, for sure. Roll away.
33.
Nothing happens. And the two figures, these long implements, turn, and you can see from their skeletal faces and the greenish fire that burns instead of where their eyes would be, that these are skeletons.
Ah, crap.
However, I'm still going to make you roll on your wild magic table since you cast a level 1 spell.
Nice.
Even though you'd not used advantage yet for anything, I'm going to grant it back to you and roll to see if you...
That's this one?
Yep.
1.
He's so excited.
I thought it
That was such a fluke. Interference. It hit the other dice.
Because you rolled that 1, your magic surges wildly.
Yay. I'm super excited.
I'm not.
Some stuff is cool. Some
Yeah,
stuff
and
is
some stuff
random.
is not.
You need to roll a D100, please.
19.
Suddenly, a spurt of viscous, oily, gross liquid erupts gusts all out of every orifice. Pour
Right at the end of the shaft.
exposed piece of skin of Oriana, especially out of her hoof. And do you have hooves as a tiefling? I think you do.
You don't have to.
No, I didn't. I think I just had hooves in my...
In your dream,
Your
yeah,
dream
okay.
Yeah.
sequence.
Out of your feet, completely destroying the silken slippers you're wearing, and roiling like an upturned barrel of oil in a circumference around you
Yeah, it's going to make us really tough to move.
that is 10 feet in diameter around you. Your friends, your siblings are all coated in it from their knees and lower, as they too are subject to this horrible grease spell that you've somehow caused in this surge of chaotic magic.
Yeah, it's a good thing you're floating, Yasheria.
Oh yeah, I'm
It's a
still
good
floating.
thing I'm fire resistant.
Sister, what happened?
I don't want to talk about it, okay?
So, how difficult is it to go towards the skeletons in this grease spot?
This makes
Sorry.
me so upset.
As soon as it appears, each creature standing in its area must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or fall prone. Just the two of you.
Yeah, she's floating. Okay, I'm going to roll 15.
That is sufficient.
Okay. Are you going to roll?
You need to roll as well.
Oh,
You fall prone, covered ever further in more grease. Roll initiative.
Come on, Calcrix. Let's go kick its ass. Make sure to
natural 20, bite me.
roll for your methods, too. Whichever one you
Oh,
use.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm focused on not falling. That's my excuse.
Mephit's got a 4.
Oriana, you've got a...
22.
6.
14.
All right, Oriana, you're first. You're laying on your back, looking up at the shaft. It looks even bigger from the angle you're looking at than when you were on it.
He just can't stop himself. It's okay.
What?
I sit up, afraid to slip. I stand, and I shoot Ray of Frost from a sitting position towards the skeletons.
Perfect.
The 20.
That's a hit.
8.
Excellent. The skeleton falls dead.
Woohoo!
The shovel in the skeleton's hands falls from its lifeless, bony grasp as it falls to pieces inside a black robe. The other skeleton continues to shamble forward. It is now Yasheria's turn.
So I guess I will touch down to the ground, away from the grease stain, next to the other skeleton. I will just generally swing with my warhammer, sans shield.
You can't get there fast enough. Levitate only allows you to move like 20 feet, doesn't it?
Oh, how high up am I still?
In order to move while you're levitating, you need to use your action to move.
Oh, okay. I guess I could use one of my cantrips.
Yeah. Cast a cantrip.
Yeah, I'll just use Sacred Flame.
What do you say when you cast Sacred Flame using the symbol of Palor of your beloved Urki Timbers, who is still sitting on your shoulders?
So with my free hand, I say, burn at the light of Palor.
Ooh, very nice.
As you say that, Urki Timbers picks his head up off of your head and he lets loose a cry of excitement and enthusiasm. And he says, "In Palor's name!" And the skeleton attempts to dodge. The skeleton has rolled a 19 and it dives out of the way.
It sure does.
That is Yasheria's turn. It is now the remaining skeleton's turn, and it moves towards you into attack range. All of you are still within the grease.
Well, he sat down outside of the grease.
No, I'm still floating.
Oh, you're still floating? Right.
Yeah.
The skeleton shambles forward with a shovel upraised to smack down onto Oriana as she is the closest sitting up. He would have advantage on the strike, but as soon as he enters the grease, he begins to slip and slide, and he makes his dexterity save and fails, falling heavily on his bony rump, his just outside of the reach of being able to attack Yasheria from there. That is the skeleton's turn.
Awesome.
However, in the darkness, two multi-limbed, thick creatures start moving towards you. And as they move out of the darkness towards the light, you can see that these are mature twig blights.
Oh, man.
These two mature twig blights that are about the size of men rush forward, entering as well the greased area.
I hope they fall.
One of them falls heavily, sliding into Drayden. The other retains its feet and swings its sharp branches of hands with these horrible needle-like claws into Oriana's flesh.
If we can get out of the grease, I can do something pretty awesome.
I'm going to set those trees on fire.
It strikes you, doing 3 points of damage. That was the twig blight's turn. It is now Drayden's turn. You stand there with a twig blight laying at your feet, covered in grease.
Yeah.
The frostbrand Calcrix in your hands. What would you like to do?
I'm going to attack the twig blight, swinging it in a figure 8 type sweep and bringing it down low into the section that I consider to be its neck. Come on, Calcrix, let's kick its ass. 13.
That is not sufficient
Figured.
against the thick bark that covers this twig blight's form. You must now make a dexterity saving throw.
I know. Nope.
As you attack, your feet slide out from under you. You impale Calcrix into the ground next to the twig blight. You don't fall as a result, but you are leaning heavily against Calcrix, and it is buried 3 to 6 inches into the stone floor. Good job! Calcrix whispers in your mind.
Whisper yells.
Yeah,
that's Calcrix.
As you,
Do I think that's like an honest thing or a
It's totally sarcastic.
Oh, I say back. The critique is not necessary.
You have slain the ground.
I'm working on it.
And that is Drayden's turn. It is now a pair of Mephit's turn.
Vape, where are you?
What's up, dude?
Vape, steam breath those trees.
Nice.
Vape flies up from behind me for what seems an eternity with how slow he is, and he exhales this huge cone of scalding steam across the two twig blights.
Go for it.
So the Mephit exhales a 15-foot cone of steam. Each creature in that area must succeed on a DC 10 dexterity saving throw, taking 4 1d8 fire damage on a failed save or half as much damage on a successful one.
Perfect. So I'm going to roll my saves. You're going to roll your damage right now,
Okay.
because no matter what, the damage will be applied. So roll that up while I roll to see if these two twig blights, in fact, I believe based on how everything's laid out, currently Vape can get all 3. So he can get the 2 twig blights and the skeleton if he also hits Drayden, or he can hit 1 skeleton and 1 twig blight. But you commanded him to get both of the twig blights, right?
Yeah.
So is he going to hit Drayden as well?
I think so, because he's not the smartest, and I probably didn't clarify to him not to...
That's okay.
All right.
Sorry.
Make your... You have to make a dexterity saving throw. You have
need 3
disadvantage
more.
because you're currently essentially prone.
Oh, I'm holding. It's fire damage.
Yeah.
I'm holding Calcrix.
Oh.
You still have to make a save.
I know.
Ah.
Why do you think I pushed to make it so you were connected to this whole damage scenario? Make your dexterity saving throw with disadvantage.
And then I add them all up, right?
Yeah. So here are the 2 twig blights. Failed. Failed. And the skeleton failed. However, I will point out, on one of the dice, on each of the subsequent rolls, I got a 20, a 19, and an 18. However, I also happened to get a 6, a 4, and a 2. So, because disadvantage, normally I'll only say ask for the lower one. You totally blew out all 3 of the combatants right there while laying on your back in a disgusting mass of grease that you have cast through your wild magic. It catches fire.
Awesome.
Storming through the individuals. So your damage is going to be increased by an additional 10 because the grease catches fire. How much damage did you do?
26.
Even if they had saved, they would have all perished. The twig blights go up in puffs of I'm going to back this up. It's steam, not fire. We're not going to add the additional 10. The 16 damage is what you did. Steam does not catch the grease on fire, thankfully. It just boils it. So you do the 16 damage. It just boils it. The 2 twig blights, however, reach this dry, crackling tinder stage of existence, and they burst into flame. The skeleton, the light that was the green light glowing in the skeleton's eyes goes out, and it falls. It's already laying down, so it just collapses into rubble and little bits of bone. The shovel in its hearty grip falls to the ground with a clatter. The fire, though, from the 2 twig blights lights up the grease, and it begins to smoke and smolder and work its way towards you. Uh-oh. Drayden, did you succeed at your dexterity save?
I had a 10.
10 is not enough,
okay.
So you would have taken the full 16 damage. However, you are the owner and attuned to Calcrix the Frostband.
Damage, so I take it all.
It's fire damage.
Oh, it's fire damage?
Yep.
Okay.
So you take only 8 damage.
All right.
However, the twig blight at your feet catches fire. You must immediately leave the area as that fire is about to consume all of the grease that fled Oriana's orifices.
Can I make a strength check to take Calcrix with me?
In a mere moment, yes, for it is now the top of the round, and it is Oriana's turn again, followed by Yasheria.
Well, I want to get out of the grease.
Absolutely.
Just like butt slide
You need
out.
to make a dexterity save to climb to your feet, or you can attempt to army crawl through the grease away from the fire. You'll only be able to move 15 feet. That will get you out of the grease.
But if I army crawl the grease and I'm covered in it, won't it just leave a grease trail?
You're exactly right. It will leave a grease trail, but
So
you'll
the
be
fire
out
will
of
continue to
it. It will eventually try to catch you, but you can move faster than it can, so you should be able to get out. What would you like to do? Do you want to army crawl through the grease out of there, or do you want to try to risk getting up and running?
From past experience,
Yes.
I'm going to play it safe and I'm going to try and army crawl my way out of this mess.
All right.
As I'm sitting, I slowly lean my body over so that I am on my belly, and I slowly try to put one arm in front of the other. But on my first attempt, my elbow slides and it kind of slides back, and I realize that's not going to work. And so I start to kind of shuffle my body like a worm, trying to maneuver myself, swaying side to side out of the grease puddle.
The grease sloshes from one side of you to the other, building up thick piles of grease. You basically squeegee it from one side to the other with your front. You worm your way out of the grease, trap that you've created for yourself and lie there panting. Just outside of it, a large but very thin slime trail, as though a slug had left a garden path and was working its way across a flagstone, is the image you're left with.
I loved you in the transporter.
The Transporter 3?
I think it was number one.
Yeah, it was the first one.
Number one, where he does the grease fight, which is so crazy.
Oriana, you have freed yourself from the grease. That is the end of your movement. You may take an action if you will, but there are no combatants remaining.
No.
Okay, so we will move on to Yasheria.
Because I'm still levitating, right?
Absolutely.
So I can't pull anyone out, can I?
You could, yeah, absolutely. If you wanted to grab someone who, like, there's only one other person, that's Drayden, kind of leaning against his sword.
But Drayden, are you standing or no?
I'm like using it as a crutch.
So based on color, Drayden is kind of standing, but for the context of the mechanics, Drayden is prone.
Drayden is prone. Okay.
I'm in a really awkward position. Like I'm kind of like back.
Picture yourself learning how to skate, starting to slide and grabbing the boards. Your feet are not trustworthy. You're still standing, but you're holding the top of the boards, that red border, like it was like life depended upon it. That is what Drayden is doing, clutching Calcrix.
I imagine that one arm is leaning back and I'm almost doing a weird back bend. Like there's no way I could attack anything in this position.
How high am I off the ground?
About 10 feet, maybe 3 feet between
feet.
there. Yeah.
Because how many turns would it take for me to go down, put down Urky Timbers, and then grab Drayden from the grease trap?
Just chuck Urky.
You can grab Drayden without
having to put them
Urky
putting them down.
Timbers.
Okay.
There's no.
I will go do that. I will go grab Drayden.
You use your action to will yourself to be moved by the power of your boots over to Drayden.
I reach out and say, "Give me your hand, brother."
Excellent. It is now your turn, Drayden.
I'm going to reach out and grab Yasheria's hand just to steady myself and get back to my feet. And while making a grunting noise as I flex my muscles to remove Calcrix from the stone, hopefully extinguishing the fire that is coming near me, I allow Yasheria to helicopter me away.
Do you use Calcrix to put out the fires?
So it says, when you draw this weapon, you can extinguish all non-magical flames within 30 feet of you. This property can be used no more than once per hour. Sure.
Just before the grease fire ignites in a roiling inferno, a blast of cold sucks the heat and energy out of the flames. They flicker, dim, glowing at first brilliant red and scarlet, then to orange, then to blue, and then gone. The room is plunged into pseudo-darkness as once again only the violet light of the fungi illuminates the path.
And Calcrix.
Calcrix goes out for that brief moment.
Oh, okay.
Too. Just as the cold is sucked into it.
Nice.
It's fine. It'll reignite in a mere moment.
I'm going to give Calcrix like a little great work. Good stuff.
And you hear to the north, through that large cavernous opening, the sounds of activity.
All right, so Yasheria helicopters me and puts me on the ground out of the grease.
You land, both of you. You still have lots of time left on levitation. However, it's not very efficacious for moving.
No, so I guess I'll just touch down.
Okay.
2 questions.
Yep.
Do my Mephits still get a turn?
There's no more combat.
Okay.
So we're out of there.
Am I still covered in grease?
Absolutely.
So since we're no longer having turns, can I use Vape and Glassy together to steam clean me off?
She needs to take her gear to the dry cleaners.
You're covered in grease for your lower half as well.
Yeah.
Vape and Glacy do their best, but
Or I was thinking if
Glacy is capable of freezing the grease, which leaves you in this thick, sodden, crunchy outfit.
break it off?
And the grease is thoroughly saturated your clothing because of your army crawl. Vape tries to steam it, but that just reliquefies it and it kind of just sloughs off of you. So slowly over time, yes, but you are still a sodden mess of disgusting grease.
Is there a...
But
I strip naked.
as you begin to strip to try to figure out a way to clean your clothes, all of the grease magically disappears. The grease from this giant explosion where it first occurred puffs away and is gone, leaving clean stone floor and your clothes clean as it was before, as the 1 minute of that spell expires.
Oriana, could you get dressed?
Yes, brother. That was really embarrassing.
No, it wasn't. It was fine. It helped even. I think eyes closed.
Yeah, it's debatable.
It put a fire under us to finish the fight.
That deserved a at the end.
And with that, we'll end the game session.
That's good.
Perfect.
Raise a glass and drink with the enemy. Raise a glass and sing with the enemy. And I'm not gonna do this on my own. And raise a glass and toast to the enemy. Raise a glass and sing to the enemy. And I'm not gonna do this on my own.
This concludes this episode of Tavern Tales, a curated Dungeons & Dragons 5e game set in the Tales of the Yawning Portal adventure module by Wizards of the Coast. Our intro and outro music is the song Tavern Tales by the Bad Billy Band. You can find out more about the Bad Billy Band on iTunes or at www.badbillyband.com or follow them on Twitter at badbillyband. Thanks for listening. Please feel free to leave us a review on iTunes or find us on Twitter at tavern_tales. We'll be back next week with more of the adventure.
I'm just
It's
going to
okay.
sit in my pile of grease. Let everyone who comes near me slip
Yeah,
and fall.
you can just sit there and cast spells. I have to actually get close enough to hit them. I have to get out of this grease.
So that's what your wild magic does? Like
It does random shit.
every
yeah.
so often it'll just accidentally
yeah, there's some pretty cool things, but
It can do some cool stuff. Like
yeah.
But you rolled a 19 and it made you do like an ink. As soon as he said the way that it the way he described it, I thought
she
of
inked herself.
Zoidberg from Futurama. Just
Oh, as soon as I flipped to the page and I saw what it was, I was not happy.
It's fine. We'll use it to our advantage.
And then I get vape to steam me off.
oh yeah, you can steam clean yourself.
Yeah. Did you even roll for his initiative?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Is
they got.
Vape going to help you?
I haven't decided.
Well, Glassy's the icy one.
I know.
They only got a 4.
Oh.
Vapes. Vape is me. I'm vape. Sorry.